My sermon is going to be a little different today. It's going to be part of a sermon and part of a testimony. So let's think back to when you were cool in high school, maybe even college, for those of you kind of bloomed a little late. I mean, really, think back. What were you like? Okay, I'll give you a minute. Were you cool? Did you think you were cool? Okay.
It was the 60s.
60s, 70s for me. So were you really one of those cool kids? Yeah, maybe in your mind. Were you one of the ones at the top of your game? Whether it was football, basketball, cheering, tennis, or even the debate team. Because, you know, academics is top of the game for some kids, which is great. Maybe you were just cool in the group you hung around with. That was my brother. You had a pocket of friends that you hung around with or associated with, so that made you cool, or at least you thought you were cool. Okay? That's again my brother. I love you, Mike. Maybe you were considered cool because of who your parents were. You were the rich kid. Did you have the best car? We had the best cars, I have to say. Didn't we, Mike? We had every car going. It was great. Were you a smart kid in school? No. Average AB, that's okay. But where were you when you were in high school? I mean, what was the whole big scheme of things back then? Come on, it was just like this little minute blip in our life. But back then, it was big. But think back, can you imagine what it would be like to be cool in the eyes of Isaiah, in the times of Isaiah, when they were growing up? And, I can't even imagine that. It's just such an old time. So, but if you think about it, it's probably not much different today. Maybe you had the biggest parcel of land, or you had the best looking camel. Did they have sports of some kind? I don't know. How about having the most wives with lots of children to carry on your name? What do you think of that, guys? The most wives. You ever heard of that? You. I can't imagine what it would be like to be cool in those days, but I am sure it was not much different than we have today. Even our kids in high school today, not much different than we had, if you just keep going back. So, you're cool. I mean, even in your mind now, you're cool, in some ways. So I guess you had power, right? Mm-hmm. Remember them days walking down the hallway with your jersey on, Friday, the game is that night. You got out of school a little early because you got to go on the bus to go to the game, right? Okay. How about this one? Control in the lunchroom at the senior table. Okay, nobody else can sit there but the seniors, all right? Oh yeah, now that was power. What about, this was in my school. Michael didn't know because he always cut school. So what about this, the school parking lot? Okay, we had hundreds of kids that drove. I mean, our school was really big. But you know what? And nobody had assigned parking spaces, but we all knew who parked where, and you didn't park in that space. I mean, mine was the third row from the second entrance on the end, okay, because I was getting out of school quickly. So that was the best way to go, okay? So everybody had, their own space. And can you imagine parking a camel? That'd be kind of funny. I wonder if he'd be cooperative. But, if we have to think about it, we all know that wasn't real power. Even today, the kids, they'll realize eventually it's not real power, the power that they have in their young years of growing up. God's power is real power. He created the earth and everything on it. We live in a wonderful place, except when we have almost 6 feet of snow in 2 weeks. And for those who have to drive in it, or shovel it, we're not happy. But, There are people that are blessed by this snowstorm. It is the kid, the neighborhood kid that's, going around to his neighbors that he knows that can't shovel. And he's making a little bit of pocket money when he otherwise wouldn't be able to make any money in the wintertime. And let's face it, these guys that have plow trucks around here today, this is how they make money in the wintertime. That extra cash that they need to maybe buy something special for their family or help to put that extra bit of oil in their tank. I mean, it's important to them. So they may have a little power at this time of the year, but the true power came from God because he provided the snow. I bet they really truly had secretly prayed that it would snow, don't you think? Yeah. God knew we needed drinking water in the summer. We needed the snow to provide that. We couldn't do that. I mean, that is no way possible in our power to do that. I mean, we could maybe make clean drinking water from existing water, but we can't make the water. He knows this, so he wouldn't let us have a winter go by without it, because he knows our wells would be going dry. It's like a simple thing, but he's the person with the power to provide us that simple thing that we need to survive. What about when you're sad, or you see somebody else that's sad, lonely, or needy in some way? Do you think you have the power to make it better? Maybe not immediately, but if you prayed and you asked God to provide that power to you to maybe help that person, you could do it. It might give you that extra oomph to take that initial step, to maybe step in between two people that are bullying somebody, or be able to say, you know what, my family can do without this $50. They need oil more than I need to go shopping. When typically you may not be able to, you wouldn't do that, or you wouldn't think to do it. Not because you're a mean person, you just wouldn't think to do it. And God is behind you, nudging you to say, you know what, you don't need to go shopping, just give it to them. They need it. It's providing them with something that is a true need. So this is where I have to say, where my sermon takes a different turn. Because I went to Becky and Bruce yesterday in Bill's, and Bill makes the most amazing oatmeal, so anytime you want oatmeal, there's your man. I'm not kidding. He fed me breakfast yesterday, and it was so good.
You told Maureen the same thing this morning.
I love to live in his world someday. So yesterday, I'm driving over there, and the one thing I have found to take time to pray at night, I'm not good at that, because if I lay in my bed and pray, or when I'm tired, I typically will fall asleep when I'm saying my prayers, just because I'm tired at the end of the day. So what I've done instead is in the morning, the car ride is quiet for me to work. It's a half-an-hour drive easily, and so that's when I've decided to do my prayers. I shut the radio off, and the moment I back out of the driveway, I'm praying. And I pray the whole way, wherever it is I'm going in the morning. And it was funny, because yesterday, when I was praying, I was on, and I started to cry, because I had more, for the first time in a long, long time, I had more blessings to pray about and thank God for than I had prayers for myself, or my family even. It was just such a good feeling. And I thought, wow, this is really working, because Ruth has been an amazing, I want to say, mentor to me over the past year of what it's like to be an amazing Christian and be a servant of God. And I try to every day. My family tries to every day in some way or another. But I just really started in the last year, after meeting Ruth and talking with her every Saturday morning, and sometimes during the week we'll play cards, which beats me all the time, but putting my faith in God It's just, my life has changed around in the last 6 months because I did that. I couldn't fix me anymore. I had to let God fix me. And the only way that I could do that is totally put myself in His hands, which for all of you guys that know this, that's really hard for me to do on anything. And Nita will tell you, I was very agreeable yesterday at the supper, wasn't I?
You still made a few demands.
I know, but I asked
Nicely.
nicely. And I didn't bark out orders. And I don't even do that at work anymore. I don't, it's like what's going to happen is going to happen, not because of what I do, but because of what God does for me to do. I can't even tell you the feeling that it gives me to do this. My heart is so full right now. My friends, my family, my wife, my kids, my granddaughter, my work, it is absolutely amazing. And I think about my friends that are going through some tough times right now. Roseanne, I can't even imagine where she's at. And all I pray for is for her and her son and his wife to give it to God, because He will make it better. It may not be what they want it to be, but it will be better, because God gave them the power after they had faith in them. And so I just want people, I can't even tell you, I even do this at church, just gotta have faith in God, because faith will do what needs to be done, because God knows that you love Him, and whatever you do is for Him. So that's my testimony, guys. I can't even tell you. It's just an amazing feeling, and it's taken a long time to get there. But you know what, if you're not there yet, please just give it over, because that's what's going to make you feel better. So, it's my sermon.